And that is very true. People like Jeff Bezos, people that are engaged in inventing and creating, artists, these guys will not tell you, okay, this is what I did, these are the steps that I did to achieve what I wanted to achieve. No, it was just a series of... What's poppin', everybody? I hope you guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Let's Speak. If you're new to this channel, my name is Miriam, and you can expect two major things on this channel. One is that I'm a math tutor, so I post several clips of me solving math equations and just math questions overall so that you can practice your problem solving skills by watching me solve those questions. And number two is Let's Speak, which is what we have here right now. I pick out several topics that enhance learning and growth overall so that we can all grow as a society, but most importantly, so that we can create a new reality for what learning and education should look like. So please go ahead and share, definitely share your comments, your thoughts. That's what's most important to me, actually, because I want to know what you guys are thinking, where your heads are at, whether you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. But also subscribe so that you can be a part of the family. Okay? All right. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Failure. So is failure a good or a bad thing? This is something that we're all puzzled about for the most part. I know because I've been there. Like, we have people talking about failure from a positive note, and then you have people talking about failure from a negative note. Like, it's just confusing. Like, is it good or bad? Is failure good or bad? Am I supposed to be celebrating when I fail, or am I supposed to be sad and in sorrow when I fail? That is the question. Okay, when you Google failure, I Google failure, and the definition is, well, actually there's two definitions. One, it says lack of success, and two, the omission of expected or required action. And then you have people like Thomas Edison. One of his famous quotes is, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." I'm using my tablet, so if I'm looking down, you already know what time it is. But yeah, so you're like, okay, is it good or is it bad? Like, what's the case? What I came to realize is that the reason people like Thomas Edison call it good, and Google, for example, is, from what I can read, is a negative note. The whole reason behind all of that is because people are not distinguishing the processes it takes to achieve your goal or your activity. And so that is what we're going to take a look at today. We're going to take a look at how can you achieve your goal, or what kind of process is required to achieve your goal, and where are you failing. So there are two major processes in life. We have a fixed process, and then we have a fluid process. In a fixed process, the results are expected. And so what that means is you already know what your results are going to look like. If you take an example of a traditional school system, your bachelor's degree is your result. So you already know what that's going to look like. And another example is a 9-to-5 job. Your result is your salary. So you already know what your result is. It's expected. Whereas in a fluid process, the results are explored. So what that means is you don't have a distinctive idea as to how your results are going to look like, but it's going to be something. You have a vague idea. So you explore your results. Okay? So we have expected versus explored. And so now let's take a look at the steps to achieve those results. In a fixed process, the steps are very clear. You're supposed to do this and this and this and that in order for you to achieve that goal of yours. And in a fluid process, the steps are not clear. You have to do this and then do that and then do this and then do that, and then you get to your goal. So the steps are not clear versus the steps are clear. You get what I'm saying? So now that we have a clear understanding as to what a fixed process and a fluid process looks like, let's take a look at as to how you can respond to failure when you face failure during your processes. The very, very first thing and the most powerful information of today is the fact that before you try and solve your failure or your obstacle, ask yourself, in what process do I thrive in? the most, or in what process do my best qualities and characteristics thrive the most? Because one of the biggest mistakes people make in this world is associating themselves in processes that they're not even supposed to be in the first place. Because as human beings, we're all gifted with qualities and characteristics that will allow us to thrive in certain processes, and that will allow us to fail in certain processes. That's why we delegate, right? But that is the biggest misconception. People will go through stress, through depression, because their best qualities are not being celebrated where they're working, or where they're trying to achieve a certain goal. And so the very, very first thing that you want to do is figure out yourself. Who am I? Who are you? And then what qualities do I have? What are my best qualities? How are they going to thrive in this process, or how are they going to be suppressed in this process? When you have a clear understanding of that, then you will know in what activities to engage to begin with. People will be like, okay, do what you love. You love what you do because it comes easy to you, because you have qualities that will make it easy for you. That is how we're supposed to be operating as human beings. But hey, the world does not want us to see that, right? Now that you have a clear understanding of your best qualities and characteristics, you can take a look at how you can solve those problems. Now, in the response aspect of it, in a fixed process, because the steps are very clear, if you are failing, what you want to do is correct those steps. So you want to go back and say, okay, in what step am I missing? If it's school, if, let's say for example, you cannot do your homework, okay, that is one of the steps to achieve your goal. Why can't you do your homework? Is it because you're hanging out with your friends too much? Or is it because there's something at home that does not allow you to focus? What is it? So you just want to go back to those steps, retrace those steps, correct them. So your biggest tool in a fixed process is correction. You get what I'm saying? Whereas in a fluid process, since the steps are not very clear, what you want to do is actually fail a lot. Failing is going to be your step, or your steps, to gain whatever it is that you're going to gain. So what you want to do is fail often and recover quick. That is a quote by Jeff Bezos, and that is very true. People like Jeff Bezos, people that are engaged in inventing and creating, artists, these guys will not tell you, okay, this is what I did, these are the steps that I did to achieve what I wanted to achieve. No, it was just a series of mistakes, a series of failures that allowed them to create what they ended up creating in the end. So if you're in a fluid process, you just want to be able to fail as much as you can and recover. So your biggest tool in a fluid process is adaptability. How quick can you learn from your mistakes so that you can create something in a short period of time? You get what I'm saying? Or condense the time that it will take you to achieve your goals. So we have correction versus adaptability. So what you cannot do is avoid either of those processes in life. You will need both of these processes to succeed. And so the biggest thing that you want to be able to do is, first of all, recognize what process each activity requires, making sure that your major activities are activities that best fit your characteristics and your qualities, your talents and your gifts, but also, most importantly, to understand the fact that you need both of these processes in life. So you want to be able to know how to work in both of these processes, because like that's just how life is, right? So you need to be able to know how to do both, but make sure that your time is not wasted on things that you're not even supposed to be doing in the first place. Now the power of failure truly is, and this is something that's very much talked about, is the fact that there's always a lesson in failure. Now, what most people fail to understand is the fact that the lesson might actually just be, hey, get out of this process. You're not supposed to be working in this process. Give it to somebody else, or choose the opposite of that, or choose the alternative that will allow you to use a process that works best for you. So once again, the lesson could also just be fix the process, or go back to the steps and try and change something. I don't want to keep this or make this any longer than it should be. But I hope you learned something new, something different today, and share your thoughts. Let me know what your process is, or how you try and solve your problems. What are your thought processes? And make sure you share, comment, like, subscribe. You already know how the deal is. I'll be posting a whole lot more videos, you guys. One of the major things in any processes is self-discipline, and that is something that I've been working on for the past couple months. So once that's ready, I will put out a video, but do expect several other videos that'll be coming out in the next couple weeks. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts with you, and I'll see you guys next time.